Finally, it looks like the summer box office gets a nice kick in the ass that it needed with Bad Boys Ride or Die. But is it enough to save the entire summer? Find out now. I'm Adam. This is Does It Hold Up Box Office Edition, where we go over what were the top 10 movies over the weekend at the box office. We take a look at a 2023 versus 2024 comparison chart. What are the top movies of the year so far? And at the very end of the show, we always flash back to a movie from the past to see how well it did in theaters. Per usual, we're going to go ahead and start with what were the top 10 movies this past weekend at the box office. And in first place is the movie that hopefully jumpstarts our entire summer, and that's Bad Boys Ride or Die. The movie made $56.5 million in its opening weekend, the biggest opening so far for any movie that's considered released in the summer box office era. In second place is the Garfield movie in its third week with just over $10 million, a 29% drop, so it held pretty well from week 2 to week 3. It's brought in $68.6 million so far here domestically. In third place is Ryan Reynolds' If in its fourth week with another $7.8 million, only a 25% drop, also held pretty strong. It's been in third place now for 3 weeks straight. For as much negativity as I heard about this movie, doesn't seem to be deterring anyone from going to check it out. It's just under 100 million with 93.3 million at the domestic box office. Will it reach 100 million? Probably. How long will it take? Stick around to find out. In fourth place, new to the list, also came out this weekend, was The Watchers, the movie directed by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, and the reviews aren't good, which is why I think a lot of people didn't go check this one out. It only made just over $7 million. In fifth place is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes in its fifth week with another $5.4 million, a 40% drop, but it's at $149.8 million so far, so I'm pretty sure they're happy with that. In sixth place, a massive drop again in its third week, is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, with just $4.2 million, a 61% drop. It dropped 59% from week 1 to week 2, and then couldn't even hold from there. It went another 61% down. I've heard a lot of good things about this movie, and I don't know why people aren't going. The one criticism I've heard is it's very just Mad Max Fury Road. Nothing really new or that interesting about this movie visually, and maybe that's why people aren't going to see it. The actors are usually wonderful in everything else that they've been in. George Miller is a great director who's made some great movies. What is it about Furiosa that's turning people away from the theaters? This was supposed to be one of the biggest movies of the summer, and it's turning out to be one of the biggest disappointments, not just of the summer, but probably all of 2024. It's made just $58.6 million so far. In seventh place is The Fall Guy in its sixth week, 38% drop, not bad for week 6, another $2.5 million, $85 million overall. Eighth and ninth place, I have them listed here as new to the chart, but they are not new to theaters, just new to the charts. It's Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring in 8th place, and Lord of the Rings Two Towers in 9th place. Fellowship brought in $2.4 million, Two Towers brought in $1.9 million for their re-releases, and take a look at those numbers there. Both of these movies did extremely well financially when they were first released all the way back over 20 years ago. $317.9 million for Fellowship and $344.4 million for Two Towers. That's impressive for back-to-back movies. And Return of the King did just as well. And in 10th place, rounding out the top 10 in its fourth week, is The Strangers Chapter 1 with another $1.8 million, a 51% drop. And this low-budget, decent-ish horror movie has brought in $32.1 million here domestically. 4 movies fell out of the top 10 this past weekend, each of them after just 1 week, and they were Summer Camp, Ezra, In a Violent Nature, and Hakyu, The Dumpster Battle. Now's the time that we take a look at a comparison chart. We want to take a look at 2023 versus 2024, weekend to weekend. How well is the box office holding up compared to the same time last year? So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We are in the 23rd week of 2024, and all the movies combined, led the way by Bad Boys Ride or Die, made $104 million. You can see that is a heck of an uptick from last week, where we only made $65 million total, and that's a great sign. This is what we should be seeing in the summer. The chart should just go up and up and up. There shouldn't be massive drops. We should have good new movies that people want to see coming out week after week after week right now. And really, the main reason why these numbers weren't that impressive were because Furiosa did nothing in week 1 and week 2, and we didn't have another movie to bolster the entire box office until now with Bad Boys Ride or Die. So 104 million, very impressive. But we are still very far behind last year's 23rd weekend, where the total box office was 165.3 million, led by Transformers Rise of the Beasts. We had a Bad Boys sequel come out this year and couldn't even come close to touching that number. It looks like 2024 is just never going to catch up to 2023. I thought maybe there might be a movie here, a movie there, and towards the beginning of the year, you could see there was a couple times, like in our second weekend, where we were even. In our 9th weekend, we were even. Our 10th weekend, 2024, actually did better than 2023. We also see that same thing in the 13th weekend, where 2024 was better. But that's where the slide started. 2024 has not been able to compete with 2023 since. We came really close in the 19th weekend, but then 2023 just blew us out of the water again. So what is it about 2024 that's making people stay away? Is it because we just don't have that many good movies? Did the 6-month strike last year really affect us that badly? Hopefully, 2025 will see a lot better numbers. In fact, when we do this same chart in a year, I expect 2025's numbers to blow 2024 out of the water. And if they don't, then it's time we set forth a crisis. Next, we're going to take a look at what were the top 10 movies in 2024 so far after this past weekend. And that's all the money they've made in just the calendar year 2024. Some of the movies on this list did come out in 2023. None of that money counts. It's just what they've made here so far. In first place is still Dune Part 2, followed by Godzilla Kong, Kung Fu Panda 4, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Ghostbusters Frozen Empire in 2 through 5. No changes there. Bob Marley One Love, yes, Bob Marley One Love is still the 6th highest grossing movie of 2024. We are almost halfway through the year, and One Love, who couldn't even reach $100 million, is still the 6th highest grossing movie of the year. That says everything you need to know about how poor of a box office we've had. If does move up 2 spots into the 7th place here with 93.3 million. Wonka moves down to 8th with 85 million. The Fall Guy moves down to 9th with 85, just over 85 million. And Migration stays in 10th. No new movies entered this chart, so no movies left this chart. Let's just say, it's impressive to see Timothée Chalamet on this chart twice. Dune Part 2 and Wonka. I would rather watch Dune Part 2 again than Wonka, but that's still really impressive for such a young actor. Alright, this is the part of the show where we take a flashback to look at an old movie to see how well it did in theaters. How well did its performance hold up? Was it profitable, or did it cost the studio quite a bit of money? And this week, we're going to take a look back all the way to 1995 with Bad Boys, the first one. Obviously, in honor of the 4th movie hitting theaters this weekend, wanted to take a look at what started it all with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence and their buddy cop franchise. So let's go ahead and take a look at that chart. Domestically, week one, Bad Boys brought in $21.5 million. The studios kept 60% of that for just under $13 million. Domestic week two, the studio got to keep $8.5 million. Week 3 plus, the studios, that 50% that they got to keep was enough for $14.3 million. Internationally, this movie did extremely well, with about $75.6 million. Yes, that's a very solid round number, and that's because a lot of international box office wasn't reported here domestically back then, so we don't have the official numbers, but we do have rather close estimates. Studio got to keep 40% of that, so about $30.2 million. This movie did not have a release in China, so no money was gained there. The budget was roughly around $23 million. I've seen some reports saying only $19 million, but I'll trust the ones that I saw from some reputable sources that said $23 million was the budget for this movie. Marketing was about 40 to 50% of that, so somewhere around $10 million. The movie grossed $141.3 million worldwide, and the net for this movie, after the theaters took their cut, was $65.6 million, just under $65.6 million. If we minus the budget and the marketing, you can see that Bad Boys back in 1995 made an estimated profit of just around $33 million. And that's why we currently are on the 4th installment of what is a very surprising buddy cop franchise. This is not a movie, when I saw this first one, this was not something I thought would blow up and become like this big, huge event movie. Everybody loved the second one. It made even more money. A couple years ago, Bad Boys for Life, which, come on guys, why would you name the third one Bad Boys for Life? Why wouldn't you save that title for the 4th movie? Just flip that. Bad Boys 3 is now Bad Boys Ride or Die, and Bad Boys 4 is For Life. But that's why we've gotten 2, 3, 4, and why they continue to make money, each of them. It's going to be very interesting to track the new Bad Boys movie because the budget is so much higher than the budget was for this movie, somewhere around 100 to 120 million on the newest movie. So, can it make enough to be as profitable as Bad Boys back in 1995? I don't think so, but maybe it will get there. Alright, that's it for me this week, rounding up the past weekend's box office. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about anything that I discussed, and what movies you're going to be checking out this weekend. Did you see Bad Boys? Did you like it? Do you have tickets to go see it? Let me know. I'll be back next week with another roundup of the weekend's box office, and I'm hoping to have a new video out for you guys sometime soon. I'm hoping either the end of this week or sometime next week, all about how I would fix the theatrical experience. How if I ran theaters or movie studios, how would I get people back into theaters? So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that when it comes out. Until next time, remember to be good to yourself, be kind to others, and as always, keep watching movies.